So we don't do our meditations and the work that we teach our students how to do this to pray to have their prayers answered. We teach them how to get up as if their prayers are already answered. Then they say, okay, I'm going to teach my body emotionally what it's going to feel like before it occurs. Now, what is the emotion you would feel if you had your dream come true? Pretty excited, joyful, inspired, incredible gratitude. What is gratitude? The emotional signature of gratitude means the event has already occurred. It's not just feeling the gratitude, because we know that just having an elevated emotion doesn't affect matter. We know that just a clear intention of seeing something change doesn't affect matter. They've done experiments on this. You have to combine then the clear intention with the elevated emotion. The emotion is the energy, the frequency, the carrier of the thought. The thought is the intent, it is the direction, it is the specific field, frequency. So it's like tuning a radio dial. So if it's all about vibration, it's all about energy. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential that exists in the quantum field, when there's a vibrational match, it's going to find you. And if you can hold on to that emotional state of gratitude, your body is living in that future in the present moment. And that's when we begin to see the miracles happen. Getting people to go from the old self to the new self is literally crossing that river. And if you know that there's another side to the river, and you have the passion, the intensity, and the will to keep going and get beyond your emotions, get beyond your habits of thought, get beyond your unconscious states of mind and body, and you keep moving across that river, sooner or later you are going to break free from the chains of the past. And when you do, you're going to liberate a whole lot of energy. And that energy you're going to use to design a new destiny. The quantum model of reality tells us that all possibilities exist in the present moment. So you have to get to the present moment in order to create. When that person reaches that elegant present moment, the moment they do that, they become nobody. They become no one. They become no thing, nowhere, in no time. That's the moment they become pure consciousness. That's the moment they are literally walking through the door into the quantum field. Now, you can't walk through the door into the quantum field as a somebody. You got to walk through the door as a nobody. That means in order for you to heal your body, you got to get beyond your body. You got to forget about your body. In order for you to change some aspect of your personality, you got to get beyond your personality. You have to become no one. In order for you to create something new in your environment, you got to get beyond your association to your environment. In order for you to create something out of nowhere, you have to get to nowhere. And if you want to literally create some new future time, you have to get beyond time. And the moment our students do this, there's this magical thing that we see happen over and over again. It's becoming redundant now. It's becoming a pattern. All of a sudden, the moment they do that, their consciousness begins to merge with that greater consciousness, and all of a sudden the brain starts to fire in holism. The left side of the brain fires to the right side. It works in synchrony. Front of the brain, it's like this massive whole brain state. At the same exact time, the heart moves into a state of organization and coherence. And if you look at the map on the computer and we have the student hooked up to the heart monitor and the brain monitor, we can turn around and look at that person, and they have tears of joy rolling down their face. They are so whole. They are so happy that it's impossible to want in that moment, because how could you want when you're whole? And that's the moment the miracle happens.
You witness the 4-minute mile, and then everybody jumps on, and that's the important point in history right now, that information is so readily available that when you see a person in your workshops or in my workshops stand on the stage with stage 4 cancer and tell their story from start to finish, and it's not a glamorous Hollywood version, and they lost everything, and they lost family, and they got worse, and then they got a worse diagnosis, but they never gave up. And they stand on the stage and you're looking at truth. This is the example of truth right in front of you. And that person doesn't look young and buffed and a vegan. They don't look like they got it all. They just look at a normal person. And that's when everybody leans in and looks, because they want to know that that person is telling the truth, and they are, because their experience of what they did is helping somebody in the audience with a similar condition. And that's when all of a sudden the person says, if that person can do it, I can do it. And they step into that footprint. And the cool part about it is many times they do it, that change, in half the amount of time. Well, it's in the field. There's information, a footprint in the field, and there's evidence right in front of the person. And then that 4-minute mile becomes somebody else's opportunity to prove to themselves that it's actually possible. And so then, just like an infection spreads amongst a community and creates disease, and all of a sudden health and wellness become as infectious as diseases. And I think this is the time in history where it's not enough to know. This is a time in history to know how. And finally, people are latching on to that.
A miracle is not only something that one observes or witnesses, it can also happen from within. Dr. Joe has shown to the people around the world that a person can truly cause a miracle from within, and not purely by example or an experience by a story of himself or another person, rather by giving concrete scientific proof that it can happen. He has explained to us that the mind is a powerful thing, which has limitless potential, and only we ourselves can make a miracle happen, be it healing or anything else. Thus, I agree with Dr. Joe Dispenza that the mind is a miraculous thing and can truly cause miracles. But it depends on you if you're willing to take that step forward. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and do make sure to share your thoughts with us in the comment section.
Tumors disappearing, people stepping out of wheelchairs, crazy, blind people seeing, deaf people hearing, crazy stuff. This is biblical proportion stuff. And now they're doing it non-locally because they can't be together, but they understand in the quantum there's no separation. They can do it without being there. And they're not doing it. I've dropped in on these calls. They're not doing it because they want to hang a shingle on their door saying I'm a healer. In fact, they got to get beyond that in order to heal. They got to get beyond that identity. They're doing it because they're healing themselves every time they connect to love. And so, that person then, whose daughter was riddled with a brain injury from a child, that never looked at her brothers, never was present, never could talk, was still and frozen, who's now looking at her brothers and laughing and hugging them and smiling and trying to talk. We're on the call with 50 people and 2 scientists from a prestigious university. And this woman is telling the story, and everybody is sobbing. Everybody is sobbing. Why? We contribute to the living organism. You made a difference. You changed somebody's life. That's why we do it, for that feeling. You keep doing it. That's going to be a common feeling. You're going to get really sensitive to some energy, to some feeling. That's what it's about. People try to work their whole week in opening their heart at a week-long event. Comes time to heal another person, now it's no longer about them. And they get it. They get it. All they had to do was open their heart for somebody else. That's how it opens. So then we have it backwards. That when we start regulating and feeling wholeness and love, and practice that on a daily basis, the master goes unnoticed, walking past somebody and healing them. They don't want to be recognized. They're not doing it for recognition. They left that a long time ago. They're doing it because they want to execute. They want to know the right time, the right moment, the right second to be able to do it. So I'm proud of our community, because our community is connected. I never want this work to be about me. If it's about me, it's the wrong thing. I want it to be about them. I want them to be empowered and inspired. I'm not going to tell them what to do. I would never do that. I would rob them of their free will. I want them to be able to execute with the tools to be able to create the life they want. And as you get closer and closer to source, to singularity, to wholeness, it's no longer about you, it's about us. It's about community. And that's when we begin to emerge as something greater.